Hey, what's up, guys? Scott here, back with another video. Today, I'm finally doing my Deadpool and Wolverine review, and because the movie's been out about a month now, so there's been plenty of time for everyone to see it, and all the spoilers are out there. So this review will be filled with spoilers. So because I really want to dive into what I think of the movie. Um, so let's get right into it. So I would say overall, I love this movie. I think it was kind of but I think it was a movie Marvel needed to be successful because let's be honest, a lot of their last few films and shows, for that matter, have not been, I won't say universally panned, but have not overall been well received by fans. But so they needed a hit. The MCU needed a hit with this movie. Now, that being said, this movie is kind of different because this is Deadpool, which was already a franchise with 2 films in it before coming over to the MCU when Disney bought Fox and acquired Fox and gained access to all these new characters like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. So yes, this movie is part of the MCU, but it's also the 3rd film in a franchise that was separate from the MCU until now. So this franchise already had a devout fans that really like these films. Especially the first one. I love the first one. Not as big a fan of the second one, and I love this one. This movie was a good return to form for the Deadpool franchise. But this movie already had some advantage behind it before coming into the MCU. Even if this movie wasn't an MCU movie, this movie would still have a lot of people go see it just because this franchise already has devout fans. Man, Ryan Reynolds, he really wanted to make Deadpool into a real thing. He pushed to have that first movie made. Like really campaigned, even spent a lot of his own money to finance it, I think. To make that first one, and it was a huge hit. Loved it. Pretty much everyone loved that first one. It was a really tight movie with the perfect amount of humor and action, but also had a good story at its core, a good emotional story at its core. That's how you tell. That's a good superhero movie. A good superhero movie will have the perfect balance of action, humor, and heart, and a good story. The first Deadpool had heart. Deadpool and Wolverine has heart. The second one, not so much. There were good things in the second one. I liked Domino and some of that X-Force, some of that stuff, but the story meandered too much. It felt too forced. But I'm not here to talk about the second one. I'm here to talk about the third one, Deadpool and Wolverine. But this movie is a good return to form. It has, again, like the first one, has the perfect balance of action, hilarious humor, and heart. And at its core, again, a good emotional driving story. So this movie had the advantage of having a devout fan base before coming to the MCU. That being said, I think this movie will help boost the MCU because it's already, it's made at least $1 billion already. So, and it's not even done with its run yet. So, definitely already a box office smash hit, right? So, but Marvel, the MCU needed this movie to be a hit, and it is. I think this movie, because it's in the MCU, this movie was a good return to form for Marvel. Now, in my opinion, the movies post Endgame that have gotten that formula right, of the mixture of good humor, exciting action, but also at its core having a good emotional story, are definitely Spider-Man No Way Home hit that beat just right. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I think, was great. Black Widow, I think, was a great film. Alright. So, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, and now this movie. So, that's like 5 or 6 movies that post-Endgame that have got, in my opinion, have got that formula right. A good superhero movie, you need the perfect balance of action, humor that works, and but at its core, a good emotional driving story. And all these movies had that. Deadpool and Wolverine now included in that. Obviously, this movie is a lot more adult than the other MCU projects, but it still has that Marvel touch to it. Like the humor, most of the humor lands in this movie. The action and I don't think the jokes stretch too far. The action sequences are just the right length, and they don't go on. A lot of movies drag on action sequences too long. Like a lot of the recent John Wick movies. I think Marvel knows how to do their fights and action sequences as well, where they're fun and exciting to watch, but they don't drag on too long. Because you can always have too much of a good thing, right? Like I remember, and I like John Wick 4, but I remember in John Wick 4, there's this one sequence where John Wick is like having to fight up this bunch of stairs through these guys up a bunch of stairs, and he gets knocked back down to the bottom like 2 or 3 times, and he has to fight his way back up like 3 times, and it gets old after. Like, okay, guys, we get it. So yes, humor and action are 2 things in film and television that you have to handle it well to make sure it lands, but it doesn't go on too long. And this movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, does that just right. I think most of the humor lands. I think the action sequences and fights are just the perfect length to be exciting and fun, but they don't drag on too long. And I appreciated that much about this movie. The cameos in this movie. Okay, so the main cameos I want to talk about are what they call the Resistance, or the others in the movie, who are trapped in the void, which is where Deadpool and Wolverine get sent for a good chunk of the movie. That's where the void is also where we meet our main villain of this movie, Cassandra Nova. And I thought Cassandra Nova was handled pretty well in this movie for the screen time she got. I think you get a good vibe of her from the scene she's in. She was handled well. The main 4 cameos I want to talk about: Blade, Elektra. Okay, so Wesley Snipes as Blade, Jennifer Garner as Elektra, Channing Tatum as Gambit, and Daphne Keane as X-23, or Laura Kinney, or X-23. So those are the 4 main big good guy cameos in the movie. And I thought that and so I think this movie had just the right amount of cameos, because this movie is called Deadpool and Wolverine, right? This movie's not called Deadpool and Wolverine and the X-Men, or Deadpool and Wolverine and the Avengers. This movie's supposed to be focused on Deadpool and Wolverine, so they needed to not have too many cameos, and they needed cameos that worked. So they picked characters that I think Marvel, the MCU, picked characters they felt had gotten the shaft by the old guard, the old studio, Fox. They're run under Fox. It's like, we need to give these characters like another chance. They need another appearance. So they picked these 4 characters. Channing Tatum as Gambit was supposed to have his own movie, but it never got made. It's like, let's bring in Channing Tatum as Gambit, give him a moment to shine. And he killed it too. All these characters killed it. Daphne Keane as X-23, major connection to Wolverine through Logan. She watched her Logan die, and she connects with this Logan. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is her and this Logan just sitting by the campfire talking. She encourages him, like, "You're a good man, Logan. You're always the wrong guy until you weren't." She encourages him to go help them fight and not give up. Love that scene. Jennifer Garner's Elektra, one that I was most excited to see, because I like her movie, but it's not the most universally acclaimed. It's kind of panned by a lot of people. But they brought her back. Hey, let's give her a chance to shine in a really good movie. And she was great. And Wesley Snipes as Blade had 3 movies. 2 of them were really well received. The third one, Blade Trinity, not so much, which is where he first met Ryan Reynolds, by the way, because they were both in that movie. Let's bring Wesley Snipes as Blade back. Give him a proper, bring him back in a properly, really good movie, in a serious movie. And I like that. So that Deadpool and Wolverine meet these 4 characters, and they go and have this huge fight at Cassandra Nova's fortress. And I thought that's my whole favorite sequence of the movie, from all the way when they meet these 4 characters, the Resistance or the others, all the way through the end of the fight where they fight at Cassandra's fortress. because every single character of these characters got their chance to shine in that fight. Daphne Keene or X-23 got her moment. Elektra got her moment. Uh, Blade and Gambit definitely got their moments. And I think that's what Marvel does so well overall, to make sure each character, no matter how small the role, gets their moment to shine. So I appreciated that so much about this movie. And I thought the movie did a great job of staying true to the core stories about Deadpool and Wolverine, and these characters helped contribute to that story. These were not meaningless cameos. These are not cameos for the sake of cameos. I thought each cameo played an important role. It worked, and they got their moment. So yeah, that movie did this really well. I thought this movie did a good job of placing Deadpool in the MCU. Like, his universe is not the main MCU Earth, but it's connected now through the TVA, because he has interacted with the TVA, or the Time Variance Authority. X-23 is now in Deadpool's world, so she got a happy ending here, and I think she will be back along with Deadpool and Wolverine, and these other characters. I think these characters are introduced in this movie for a reason, because I think they're going to come back later for the big crossover movies, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So I think these characters are introduced here, and they'll play a big role later on, coming down the line. But overall, I thought this movie hit all the beats well overall. It was exciting, it was fun, and I loved that Kevin Feige, despite it now being part of the MCU and Disney, Kevin Feige, they allowed this movie to be rated R to make sure Deadpool was all the way. No, that Deadpool and Wolverine could be Deadpool and Wolverine all the way. No holds barred. No holds barred. And I appreciated that very much, because I don't think this movie would have worked as well if it was PG-13. They allowed him to go all out, and it worked. So yeah, that's just my thoughts overall. Love the movie. Overall, I give it at least an 8, maybe a 9 out of 10. That one cameo I think was mishandled, ironically. Don't get me wrong, it was really cool to see him, but I think they mishandled Chris Evans as Human Torch, because he's really just the butt. Now, when he first shows up, the first time I saw him when he first shows up, I was like, man, this is cool. But then he's basically thrown away as the butt of a joke. And I thought that was really, really not good. I thought he could have played a bigger part in the battle, helping them out and stuff. So he was the one cameo I thought was mishandled, was Chris Evans as Human Torch. But overall, other than that, really no complaints, really. I thought the movie flowed well. It was fast-paced. It was... most of the humor landed. The action sequences and fights were exciting, but they didn't drag on too long. Yeah, this is just a really well-made Marvel movie. And in my opinion, so the last MCU movie that came out was The Marvels, and that movie, I think, was a good return to form for Marvel. It was fast-paced, it had exciting but not too long action sequences, it had a good story at its core, with just the right amount of a balance of emotion and humor and heart. And I think that's what all these movies have in common, is they all had heart. So just to recap. So now the Deadpool and Wolverine has come out. I think the best movies since Endgame have been Black Widow, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Marvels, and then now this one, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All of these movies have hit that classic, that formula right, of the perfect amounts of action, heart, and humor, which makes a good superhero movie. So, anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts. Next movie coming out is Captain America Brave New World, with my dude, Sam Wilson, taking up the shield on the big screen for the first time, and the movie's receiving a lot of hate already, but I'm going to stick through it and encourage people to go see it, because I really believe in this next Captain America movie. So, and I think Sam can carry it. I really do. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and peace out.